For anyone with a car of at least 3 years old, the annual MOT test is an essential part of motoring life. But how much do you actually know about it? Okay, so you probably know that it's a legal requirement, but did you also know that if your car needs an MOT test and doesn't have one, you face a fine of £1,000? You also won't be able to renew your road tax, and you'll almost certainly invalidate your car insurance, which risks a further 6 to 8 penalty points on your driving licence, and in turn invalidates any claims you might make. The test was set up back in 1960 and it's designed to assess a car's safety and roadworthiness through a series of internal and external checks. Today, the whole thing is controlled by the government's Driver and Vehicle Standards Agency. What the MOT isn't is a substitute for a full-on mechanical check or a service. All it does is ensure that the car meets the very basic minimum requirements of the Road Traffic Act, and in some cases you'll be surprised just how basic those requirements are. It's also only a visual check, and examiners aren't allowed to remove or change anything on the car, and lots of the car's components aren't even covered by the MOT test. Remember too that it's only a snapshot in time. It doesn't guarantee that your car will be reliable for the next 12 months. All it says is at the time of the test the car met those minimum requirements. The test has to be carried out by a fully qualified and approved tester at an official test centre, but there's still no shortage of places you can take your car to be tested. Best of all, because the test fee is capped by the government, you never need to worry about paying over the odds.
You may well be tempted by places that offer cut price MOT tests, but our partners at Motor Easy recommend being cautious. No one makes much money from MOTs, even when they charge the full rate, so it's possible, although we hasten to add not certain, that somewhere that offers a cut price MOT is looking to recoup any loss it makes by charging inflated prices for repair work from MOT failures. They're also more likely to exaggerate problems, and because of the extra time pressure during these bookings, they're more error prone and less punctual.
Put it this way, if a garage is offering an MOT test for less than £30, be cautious. But if they're offering to throw in delivery and collection for free on top of that, be very cautious. In fact, you don't need to do anything. You don't even have to have your old certificate with you because all those details are held online these days. However, what we thoroughly recommend you do before your test is to prepare your car properly so that you don't fail for something that is obviously wrong or something that might cost just a few quid to fix. Pay particular attention to things like the windscreen, the lights and the mirrors. Check your tyres have enough tread on them too, and when you're out on a drive, listen for any nasty knocks or noises, any smoke for the exhaust, and worry if the car's pulling to one side when you're braking. And it almost goes without saying, if you find any problem, get it sorted before you take your car in for its test. Even if your MOT has expired, it is perfectly legal to drive to and from a pre-booked MOT test. But it's worth carrying a proof of that appointment just in case you are stopped by the police.
Or, if you register with a company like our partners Motor Easy, they'll remind you when the test is due, as well as taking care of any work that needs doing to the car if it fails the test.
The result of the test couldn't be simpler: pass or fail. Happily, about 60% of cars do pass, and if your car does so, you'll be issued with a VT20 certificate and you can go happily on your way for another year. Trouble is, there are more than 600 ways to fail, and if your car doesn't pass, you'll receive a VT30 certificate and be faced with a number of options about what to do next, but we'll look into that in a second. Finally, whatever the result of your test, pass or fail, your certificate may also include some comments known as advisories. You should pay close attention to these because they relate to work which in the garage's opinion isn't immediately necessary, but which will be required soon. If you're at all confused about why your car has failed its test, ask to speak to the examiners at the test centre and they'll be able to explain the result in much more detail. But if you still think your car shouldn't have failed, you do have 14 days in which to dispute the result using the VT17 form, which you can find online. On the other hand, if you do accept the result and just want to get your car through a successful retest, then you need to get that necessary work done, and now it's time to start thinking about money. It may well be the easiest option, but in fact you're under no obligation to get the repair work done at the test centre. So our advice is that if your car needs some major work doing to it, ring around for quotes. On the other hand, it probably does make perfect sense to leave the car at the test centre if it only needs some fairly minor work. And that's especially the case because there's a list of 25 minor repairs that can be retested for free at the same test centre within 24 hours. This includes things like the lamps, the indicators and the mirrors, but you can find a full list on our website. Also, if you leave your car at the test centre for repairs, you can claim a free partial retest within 10 days. Even if your car is taken away for repairs and brought back, you can claim a half-price test within that same 10 days. But if you leave it more than 10 days, you'll have to pay for a full retest. Far and away, our top tip is to renew your MOT early. And that's something you can do up to 28 days before it's actually due to expire. Even if your test is done early, the expiry date of your new certificate will still be 12 months on from the expiry date of your old certificate. So that means, effectively, your MOT can last up to 13 months. But the real attraction is that if you fail an early MOT, your previous MOT is still valid, so you can carry on using the car while you sort out the repairs. And it also means you have time to ring round to find the best value and the most convenient place to do those repairs. Last but not least, don't forget that if we haven't answered all your questions about the MOT, there's plenty more advice and information on our website.